Dominic Ducharme, the coach, is the best dressed coach in the league for Montreal. The suits that he wears,
well, he works for Marc Bergevin. Bergevin's pretty well dressed. So if your GM is into that, then you need to have some good threats.
The suit budget is good because Ducharme's looking sharp. Ducharme is sharp.
Listen, they're out in Montreal, okay? Style is a real part of the culture there, so no surprise.
That was a stylish game for Montreal.
Yeah, you're going to walk the streets of Quebec. You better look good. All right, Habs take it 4-2. Austin Matthews, with his 32nd season, is having a heck of a year, on pace for 44 goals. Here he is after the game.
I mean, not really, honestly. We just, obviously made some moves today, but I mean, in the end, you got to go play a game. I'm not sure that was really a distraction. We just didn't really come out with a lot of structure and a lot of purpose in the first period.
Thank you.
Next up, we'll go to Luke Fox, Sportsnet. Go ahead, Luke.
Hi, Austin. What do you think Nick Foligno will bring to the group? He mentioned that you guys know each other a little bit from the U.S. program.
Yeah, I played my first World Championships with him, and I mean, he's an amazing player, obviously, but he's a tremendous person and leader, and a guy that competes every night. And when you're playing against him, he's a guy that you don't love to go against because he's going to compete in battle every single shift. So he's going to help our team out in more ways than one, and I'm sure he's really looking forward to obviously coming home, and we're really looking forward to having him.
A bit off topic, but I noticed you tweeted about launching an NFT. Can you tell us about that initiative and why you decided to get into that?
Yeah, just something that, looking to kind of explore and just have fun with. So.
And the last one here, we'll go to Mark Masters, TSN. Go ahead, Mark.
Austin, the team also acquires David Riddick. He's obviously had some great games against you guys. What stands out about him?
Had some great games against us for sure, so that's definitely what stands out. He's big, and I've heard great things about him, so we're looking forward to obviously adding him, and as well as a couple other guys to our group, and we'll go from there. So obviously Kyle and the management coaching staff really believes in us, and they made some moves to try and help our team, so we got to take that and obviously look ahead and just continue to get better.
Well, you hear Austin Matthews' thoughts on the newly acquired Nick Foligno, previous captain of the Columbus Blue Jackets, the team that eliminated the Toronto Maple Leafs from that bubble back in the fall in the qualifying round. And I think it's interesting, Billy, because I don't think there's any question that the Leafs have been far and away the best team in the North Division, but you go back to their last playoff appearance, even though it was a qualifying round, it still counts as playoff games. And all we heard from this team is we weren't hard enough to play against. We needed to learn how to grind out a win. So when they acquire a player like Nick Foligno, who plays that exact game and makes it very difficult for you, they almost address the exact need that sort of was lost last year in the playoffs. Do you agree with that? Did the Leafs become tougher to play against with an acquisition like Nick Foligno?
Nick Foligno's reliable. He's good at both ends of the rink, defensively structured, can play on your first line, second line, wherever you want him. He's a Swiss Army knife, and he'll be a welcomed addition. I go back to Tampa Bay when they had the regular season stretch and they got swept by Columbus.
Yep.
All of a sudden, the next year, they bring in Maroon from St. Louis, and at the deadline, they get Gaudreau and Coleman. And all of a sudden, they had a really good rush team, but they weren't good on the forecheck. Not a lot of sustained pressure. Same thing with Toronto. They're going to kill you off the rush. They're decent on the forecheck, but you get a guy like Foligno, you're going to spend more time in the offensive end. So it makes him a little bit more multi-dimensional as far as being really good off the rush and then having the ability to forecheck and spend time in the other team's end and wear you down. And that's really helpful once you get into a playoff series. And a guy like Foligno brings that. He's going to bring leadership in the room. He's a quality guy. Everyone likes him. He does good stuff on the ice, off the ice. And yes, that was a missing component for Toronto. They needed some sandpaper. They needed some grit. They needed some toughness. And when you see Foligno play, he does not pass up a hit.
No, he's a very, very engaged, hardworking, physical player.
And you know the Leafs well, too. So you got a player like Zach Hyman, who's going to go in the corners. He's going to open up a lot of space. When he's on that top, like Galchenyuk's up on that top line, but when he's with Marner and Matthews, he's the guy that goes in there, digs the puck out of the corners, and then allows Matthews and Marner to operate. Now, if you get a guy like Foligno with Tavares and Nylander, well, Foligno's going to be a guy that's going to be the first man on the forecheck. He's going to separate guys from the puck, and then Nylander and Tavares are going to have that much more room and space on the ice to operate. He's a big body. He's going to go to that blue paint. He's going to be a distraction. And here's the projected lines. And this, too, gives you a lot of flexibility.
Yep.
If you're the coach, Sheldon Keefe, you can do a lot of different things with that lineup. You can move Hyman where Galchenyuk is. How about the games on the fourth line?
Well, this is what I'm saying. Like, you look at this lineup, and there is so much more, for lack of a better word, character and experience, right? You got Thornton on that fourth line, still in search of his first Stanley Cup. You got Jason Spezza in the middle, Wayne Simmons, who we saw be a very important factor early in the season, particularly in front of the net and on the power play for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I just think that they've really flushed out their lineup a little bit more. And we don't have Riley Nash on that board, who they also acquired. He will not play in the regular season, but it gives them just a little bit more forward depth come playoff time.
It does, and you can't have too much forward depth. But what you love there on that board, Simmons, yes, that acquisition. He's going to do everything. Hyman, I love the way that he plays now. Foligno. Now you got three grinders that can do it. And Jason Spezza, the way that he's played this year in a fourth-line role, getting 11, 12 minutes a game, he's put up good numbers and played really strong hockey. And then Thornton, the ageless one, the veteran. So there's two. You can mix and match that lineup a lot of different ways if things aren't working. So they got a lot of right things. And that trade for Foligno, possibly, Jackie, yes, can put them over the hump and make them a true Stanley Cup contender.
I think your comparison to Tampa acquiring Coleman and Gaudreau last year is a great comparison because they were a highly skilled team the year before. They go out, they don't get the biggest name on the board at the deadline, but they get players that can add a different element to their game, and that's what Nick Foligno does for the Toronto Maple Leafs. The only question I have now, are you concerned about the goaltending? Because the speculation out of Toronto now is that Freddie Anderson's injury is a little more serious than the Leafs let on ahead of the deadline so that they could acquire a goaltender like David Rittich.
That shored it up. I don't mind David Rittich, the way that he plays, and Jack Campbell, the way he's got all kinds of confidence. And
so no Freddie in the postseason, you're not concerned?
No, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I believe they can do it. They've gotten better defensively, structurally wise, and the way that they play 5-on-5 hockey. During this streak that they've been on, the last 14 games, the Maple Leafs, Jackie, are 1 for 34 on the power play.